Welcome to Coffee Talk. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Wednesday night sports. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is the Coffee Talk Podcast show. How y'all doing today? Welcome back. How are y'all doing today? Let me turn the volume up so I can hear myself a little bit more clear. Yes. Thank you. I am back. I took a 3-week layoff, and I'm happy to be back tonight, man. It's Wednesday night sports. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. We're going to touch on 2 different topics involving the NBA playoffs. One is the alien. That's right. Also known as Victor Wembanyama. Is that how you pronounce that? Wembanyama, that's how you pronounce it. Victor Wembanyama. Please forgive me for the mispronunciation. With the San Antonio Spurs, we want to talk about his dominance so far in this series. As the Spurs are playing against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the series is tied 2-2. With Game 5 being Friday night in Minneapolis. So we just want to talk about Victor Wembanyama because we haven't seen anything like this before. We've actually read about past stars. One of them being Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which comes to mind as a comparison. So we want to talk about Victor Wembanyama. We also want to go ahead and discuss LUKA DOCIC, the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James, and that 4-0 sweep that they just took from the Oklahoma Thunder, 4-game sweep in that series of the second round of the NBA playoffs. And, LeBron and the boys are packing their bags. So we want to go ahead and discuss that tonight. And then, of course, because we love, just spreading the word about the importance of reading, improving our literature, making sure that we get our kids, even in our seniors, to read. You know what I'm saying? Reading slows down the process of dementia. It also feeds the brain, fuels the brain, and it also helps with building your vocabulary, you know what I'm saying, and as well as your critical thinking skills. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But if this is your first time, thank you. If this is your first time tuning into our show tonight, Coffee Talk Podcast, we never start a show without giving you the wise words as well as the flavor. So what is the wise words? Wise words are words of encouragement. Those are words of enlightenment. Those are words of motivation that our past ancestors, as well as living or dead, have left behind. So whether that's in sports, music, psychology, whatever that may be, but we leave back. We definitely leave words of encouragement and empowerment. So that's what our wise words are. And of course, our flavor is anything that you sipping on. Well, today here in the Twin Cities, we're starting to get into our warmer months, gradually we just got out of winter maybe a month ago, but we're starting to hit 70s. The other day we did hit an 80 and then it dropped back down. So we definitely want to give you what the flavor is, whatever you may be drinking on. So that's what we're going to discuss. So let's go ahead and do that. Today's flavor is spring water. Why? because it's just something light, you know what I'm saying? And it's the middle of the week, you know what I mean? You may have the weekend coming up. You may want to take on some sporting events, whatever, comedy shows, whatever, and you may just want to save yourself some time to get whatever flavor you're trying to get this weekend. But tonight's flavor is spring water. Why spring water? Because spring water offers 3 types of benefits. What are those benefits? Well, the benefits of spring water is that it detoxifies the body, it promotes healthy skin, and it also supports cardiovascular health while reducing blood pressure. So tonight's flavor is some spring water. But hey, whatever you sipping on, whether that's wine, beer, a smoothie, a latte, whatever it is, we're just happy that you're here. So come on in, kick your feet up, and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. All right, now moving right along. Today's wise words comes from one heck of a baseball player. You know what I mean? And again, this is Coffee Talk Sports. We're talking nothing but sports tonight. Tonight's wise words comes from a gentleman that wore number 44. He played Major League Baseball for 21 seasons. He was born on May 18th, 1946. And people call him Mr. October. Tonight's wise words is by Reggie Jackson. All right. So Reggie Jackson, his wise words was this. Thank you. His wise words was this. Mr. Jackson stated, once you realize how good you really are, you never settle for playing less than your best. I'll say that again. Mr. October, Reggie Jackson's wise words was, once you realize how good you really are, you never settle for playing less than your best. That is by Mr. October himself, number 44, Reggie Jackson, who also, thank you for the applause. Reggie Jackson finished his career with a career batting average of 262 with 563 home runs and 1,702 runs batted in. He is now an advisory for the Houston Astros. And the former teams that Mr. October played for was one season he split with the Kansas City Royals, Oakland Athletics from 1967 to 1975. He split that season. I guess he played for both teams. I don't know if there was a combined thing. That's something I gotta look up. But it states from 1967 to 75, he played in between the Kansas City Royals and Oakland Athletics. 1976, he played for the Baltimore Orioles. 1977 to 1981, he was an assassin for the New York Yankees. Then he also played for the California Angels from 1982 to 1986, as well as, again, for the Oakland Athletics in 1987. So let's go ahead and again give a warm round of applause for Reggie Jackson, tonight's wise words. All right. So have y'all been watching NBA basketball? It's difficult trying to watch basketball now, man. I get it. A lot of us have all kind of channels and all that, but that just helps with making it difficult because you're trying to find where the game is at. You know what I mean? I guess it's on Peacock. I guess it's on Prime. Some nights it's on ABC. And it's just not being marketed enough. These semifinals of the NBA playoffs, man, it's just not being marketed enough to me where you should be able to find the games, man. Now, I don't know what's going on with that. Perhaps that could be one of the reasons why ratings are down these last few years with the NBA, so they say, allegedly. I feel like the ratings are down. I haven't really even looked at the ratings and did the homework on that. But, a lot of people that have been diehard NBA fans going back to the Lakers in Boston, going back to the Detroit Pistons, going back to the Chicago Bulls, going back again to the Boston Celtics dynasties. It just don't seem the same no more, man. And again, it's because they're outsourced. They're on all kind of different channels, man. And so we want to correct that. We want to be able to find basketball like you find football. Now the NFL has several different channels as well, but you can always find them. They're marketed more when you think of NFL TV or the Red Zone. These are just some different, streaming apps that play NFL football, as well as your regular, CBS Sports or Fox or whatever that you typically have. I miss personally basketball being on TNT. I know the guys over there had complained at one time, Shaq, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley, man, complained about going over to ESPN. I think ESPN is doing a wonderful job as far as keeping that set together, keeping those guys together, and you don't really miss nothing other than the fact that, hey, there was games played and we could find them. You know what I mean? We could find them on TNT. There was a game every other night, a playoff game. And it still goes like that currently. But again, with so many channels at this point, and they're spread it over into these new channels or platforms, man, it's just difficult trying to keep up with the game. But I tell you what, there's a good series going on in the Western Conference. Oh, absolutely. You know me, I'm a diehard Minnesota Timberwolves fan. You know what I mean? Rain, lose, or draw. I'm a little disappointed, though. I'm really, really, really disappointed with the fact that last night's game against the San Antonio Spurs, we got our ass kicked. Yeah, that's it. We got our ass kicked. Kids, if you're watching our show, close your ears as I say that, but it has to be said. The Minnesota Timberwolves got our ass handed to us last night. I mean, it felt like every time I looked up, the Spurs were making shots. And it wasn't 3-pointers. It was they were attacking the rim. I mean, 3-4 guys at the rim. And then you already know it's a problem with Victor WEMBYBANYAMA. I'm going to get that right. I know I ain't the only sports analyst that has tripped over that name during the broadcast. But it's Victor the Alien WEMBYBANYAMA. You know what I mean? Victor right now is averaging 23 points, 6 blocks, 15 rebounds against my Minnesota Timberwolves, man. And the series is tied 2-2. But so thinking about Victor the Alien, I was thinking back today about how we remember hearing about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We remember hearing about that. Me, myself, I was too young to really witness his dominance at UCLA during his college years as they won championships after championships after championships. And I was just starting to watch basketball during Magic Johnson's rookie year, the year Kareem got hurt, and Magic had to go play center and dominate those finals. But I started to really pay attention to Kareem when they were battling Philadelphia 76ers and Dr. J and them in the finals. You know what I mean? And looking at Victor brings on the comparisons. You know what I mean? They bring on the comparisons of what we read and what we heard and from a visual standpoint, what we saw of Kareem. So I wanted to go ahead and just look at the comparison. I wanted to go ahead and do a little bit of research. So here's what I found. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 28.8 points as a rookie. 7'2" giant. Now, I don't know how tall Victor is. Some people are saying 7'4", some people are saying 7'5", some people are saying 7'6". Another thing with Kareem, just in these comparisons with Victor is Kareem averaged in the finals, something that Victor hasn't got to yet. But in this series with the Timberwolves, he's averaging 23, 6, and 15. Well, Kareem in his first NBA championship averaged 23.5 points, 9 rebounds, 3.2 assists. So these are just some crazy comparisons of how great Victor is headed. You know, he's already a great player, you ask me, but he's going to be legendary when it's all said and done. Another thing about Kareem is, you know, at one point, because of Kareem's length and his dominance, you know, they had to ban dunking in college basketball because of Kareem. Yeah, that's right. They had to ban dunking the ball. You know what I mean? Just for you young people out there that don't know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they had a rule called the Lou Alcindor dunk rule. That's right, where Kareem was banned from dunking the basketball in college. And the rule spread for 9 years from 1967 to 1976. That's how dominant Kareem was. And so with those comparisons, I'm just thinking about how this guy, Victor Wembanyama, is doing, man. He's fantastic. He put on some muscle last season when he was just coming along. People would try to push him. Now, it's not so much you can say that anymore. Hey, go ahead and get physical with Wemby. Wemby's just long, man. And anytime he's in the paint, anywhere in the paint, those are buckets. Because nobody's going to stop a 7'6" man with an 8-10 feet wingspan. You know what I mean? So my Timberwolves and the Spurs are knotted up at 2-2 in this semifinal Western Conference to see who goes to the Western Finals, man. And, you know, we'll see what happens, man. Ant-Man, again, is back. And I'm happy to see that. But, man, come on, Timberwolves. One thing that's hurt my Timberwolves, and it's not much, but they have to realize the Spurs is not Denver. So you can't allow Victor to get to his spots when he comes down the post up. Is he a great three-point shooter? Absolutely. But I would rather him take those shots versus in the paint. Yeah, we got Big Rudy at 6'11", one of my favorite centers that has helped the Timberwolves tremendously. But, man, even Gobert needs some help with Victor, man. So let's tighten it up, Timberwolves. I'm still cheering for you, even though I'm disappointed. But let's go ahead and get this win Friday night. Can we go ahead and do that for us? Or if Victor and the Spurs win, it's going to be tough getting to a game 7. That's our segment for the Victor Wembanyama San Antonio Spurs versus my Minnesota Timberwolves. Let me know what y'all think. Who you think is going to win the series? Have you been watching the series? Have you seen any type of dominance from a man like that at 7'6"? What do you think of the comparisons of him and the young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Go ahead and let me know. Put that in the comments. While you're there, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're checking us out on YouTube. Make sure you're checking us out on Facebook. And, man, thank you. Let's go ahead and move right along, shall we? All right. The Los Angeles Lakers, man. And the first thing I want to say is this, man. First, I want to tip my hat to LeBron James, man. You know what I mean? LeBron James at 41 years old. And no, I'm not a LeBron James stan. I just like good basketball, man. And I respect great players. It don't matter, big, tall, blue, black, white, red, whatever, man. It don't matter. I just like good basketball. You know what I mean? I love the truth of the sport. And it brings me to the Lakers tonight and LUKA, but we're going to just talk about the Lakers first. And when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, man, first I want to say they had a good season with LeBron being out for, a month and a half to end up in the second round of the playoffs. That says a lot. Luka Doncic just came to the Lakers last year via the Anthony Davis trade, which I don't know who won that trade. Anthony Davis is now with the Washington Bullets. He's coming off an injury. He's trying to get revved back up. Luka Doncic went from being out of shape, but playing, to now getting his weight down, and now he's injured. And, I don't like the fact that he's injured. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But I just want to say this, man. There's no reason that a 41-year-old basketball player in LeBron James, as great as he is, he's averaging 23, 24, 25, 26 points a game, somewhere up in there. And at 41 should be your main option on that court. So what you did, you went ahead and you spent $43 million this year alone to go ahead and get Luka Doncic. Well, Luka, by all means, he's played, 64 games this year. He is the leading scorer in the NBA. He averaged 33.5 points a game. So, woo, did he get busy? Yeah, he got busy. He got busy. Number 77 for the Los Angeles Lakers got busy. However, what I have a problem with is the injury. And I have a problem later on this week when I know that these basketball analysts, these podcasters, they're gonna attack LeBron because he got swept. You're gonna hear he ain't the GOAT because Jordan never got swept, things like that. Jordan did go home for 7 years straight before he got Pippen and the boys and they started winning. A lot of people forget that. But I'm not here to debate if LeBron's better than Jordan. Oftentimes I get disappointed because they have LeBron so high. LeBron is the all-time leading scorer, played the most playoff games, blah, blah, blah. But, I don't put LeBron over Kobe. To me, it's Jordan, Kobe. It's Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron is the top three to me. You know what I'm saying? But I have a problem with the fact that, to me, I just felt like this. You can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want to. I don't mind being called a conspiracy theorist. Those are definitely great words to be said about yourself, because usually conspiracy theorists is telling the truth. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's a compliment to be called a conspiracy theorist. However, I'm looking at this series with Oklahoma Thunder and the Lakers, and I'm seeing LeBron and them get swept, and I'm thinking to myself, why at $43 million a year, why is Luka not playing? Why is what's the guy's name, Reeves, just now showing up? He missed the first round of the playoffs, came back in the second. I don't know what his injury was, but I wanted to pay attention more to who's supposed to be the face of the team, and that's Luka. So from what my research shows is that Luka got injured, and he got injured on April 2nd, and he missed the last 15 games of the season. Okay. 15 games of the season. He received a grade 2 hamstring injury. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm paying this guy $43 million to be my point guard, to be the face of the league, to be the first option. Why is he not on the floor? Now, if you speak to some people, they're going to try to defend that. They're going to say, oh, he got injured. He can't come back. So I went ahead and I started researching, and I found out that the type of injury he has, a grade 2 hamstring, the estimate time of recovery for that is typically 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. I want you to save that and think about it in a moment here. His estimated return time is between 4 to 6 weeks with a grade 2 hamstring. He missed 15 games. My thoughts right away was, wait a minute. My man Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves had a mild hyperextension. And so I went ahead and did the research on that. And I said, well, okay, I asked Google, I said, you know, or Gemini or one of those search engine sites. I said, well, how long would the expectation be for a basketball player with a mild hyperextension? And it came back that that type of injury usually lasts between a few weeks to a month. Now, if you was watching the Denver Nuggets series with the Timberwolves and the guy falling back on Anthony Ant-Man Edwards' leg and his knee hyperextending like that, to only return to this important series within 9 days. He had to finish Denver up. He came back within 9 days. Luka Doncic done missed 15 games, ain't been back since April 2nd, or he had got injured April 2nd, and it's now May 13th. So he missed over a month, almost 6 weeks. I believe that Luka could have played. I believe for some reason that being that this is winding down in the last year or two of LeBron James, that these corporations did not want to have film of Luka playing along with LeBron James and them boys getting swept. It's a much better story to just go ahead and turn on LeBron, because so many people have, to say, oh man, LeBron got swept. And then you can push that narrative and up against Jordan and let that comparison continue on. But it would have been a different story had Luka played. And I'm going to tell you why. Had Luka came back, which he should have for $43 million, which he should have because he already waited 5 weeks, going on 6 weeks. And this is an important playoff game. And you have a LeBron James there. You have the Reeves kid there. I believe, Luka, you should have been willing as a leader to want to go out there and fight with your boys and try to get one win. LeBron carried those boys. You know, but I believe that if Luka would have came back and LeBron would have played as well as he did, you wouldn't have been able to say the narrative of, oh, well, they're balling because Luka's out there. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Luka don't play defense. That's right. Luka don't play defense. Is he an offensive juggernaut? Absolutely. But he don't play defense. Several people feel like when us sports analysts get to talking about this subject, this touchy subject about Luka not playing D, that we're just picking on him. I don't know. Some people say that Luka does play defense. He plays great defense, they say. Some people say that he just has problems with small guards. But other than that, they would say that he's one of the top defensive guards in the league. That's what their argument would be. So again, you know how we like to do our research here at Coffee Talk Podcast. We decided, well, let's go ahead and see who are the top 10 players and what are their scoring averages against Luka Doncic. So the number one guy that always destroys Luka Doncic. However, they only played 4 times. So people will say, man, they only played 4 times. It's Kyrie Irving. Every time Kyrie Irving did be on the other side of Luka in a game, he's averaged 34.5 points a game. But he's only played Luka 4 times. Number 2, Jamal Crawford. Mr. Jamal Crawford, former Timberwolves, Portland high school legend, state legend, former LA Clipper. Jamal Crawford averages 34 points a game against Luka, but he's only played him twice. Third is Damian Lillard, who averages 32.4 points a game, And he's played Luka in his career 17 times. Greek Freak. Antetokounmpo. I know I've messed that name up. The Greek Freak in Milwaukee. He averages 31 points when guarded by Luka. And he's faced Luka 12 times in their career. Cade Cunningham. Cade Cavalieri Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. He averages 28 points a game when he faces Luka. And he's matched up against Luka 12 times. Jalen Harris averages 31 points against Luka, but he only faced Luka once. Joel Embiid, when guarded by Luka, and I know Luka's a guard, but you got to remember Luka's like 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guard. So he had to deal with defending Joel Embiid. Well, Joel Embiid averages 28 points out of 9 games that they've went against each other. Number 8, Stephen Curry, who averages 27 points in 17 matchups against Luka. Number 9, LeBron James, when guarded by Luka, averages 27 points in 14 games played against Luka. And lastly, number 10, Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics averages 27 points a game against Luka, and he's played Luka 12 times. So for all the guys that's played Luka over 8, 9, 10 times in their career, look at the numbers. They say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So with that, do you think Luka can play defense? Go ahead and leave that in the comment. Do you think Luka's one of the top defending guards? Is he in your top 5 of NBA guards and NBA, which is known not to really play defense? Let us know that. Leave that in the comments. This is Coffee Talk Podcast, Wednesday Night Sports. All right. So now, finally, we're getting to the end of our show. And we don't want to leave you without giving you a short story. Again, we're all about literature. We're all about giving big props to our doctors, our lawyers, our scholars, our ancestors, our poets, our people, Black excellence. And tonight, we want to share with you a great story. The story is less than a minute or 2 minutes for those that, can't hold on to paying attention. But if you do want to listen to a great story, man, I'll be happy to read it to you. This story is titled Women's Basketball Players. In 1931, the Philadelphia Tribune Black newspaper sponsored a female basketball squad that became the first Black female sports team to experience success in the United States. The team rarely lost behind star center Ora Washington. The typical style of women's basketball until the 1960s was 6 players per team with separate threesomes for offense and defense. The squad was named national champion by most Black newspapers throughout most of the 1930s. Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller's sister, played on the 1984 Olympic gold medal women's basketball team. In one game at Polytech High School in Riverside, California, Cheryl Miller scored 105 points. She was a member of 2 NCAA championship teams at the University of Southern California and an All-American team in 1983 and 1984. This is just a short story of women basketball players. All right, so if you ever want to figure out where we get some of these stories from, We get them from all kind of books. Again, we love reading. We love encouraging reading. But that particular story can be found at 1001 Things Everyone Should Know About African American History by Jeffrey C. Stewart. 1001 Things Everyone Should Know About African American History. So that's our story for tonight. I would like to thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast Wednesday Night Sports. We are back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I love that song. I've been singing that song all day, man. That song is from the show, 1970s show, Welcome Back, Carter. You know what I mean? Check that out if you into throwback TV series. But again, thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast Sports. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. We'll see y'all this weekend. Peace.